I'm 74 years old. I drove trucks for 41 years, covered more than 3 million miles of road, and in all those miles there's one night I can't forget. November 19th, 1989, 2:14 in the morning. I saw a car pulled over on an empty highway. A woman sitting inside crying. I had 4 hours to make my delivery. Stopping meant losing my job. I stopped anyway. And what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about what a life is worth. My name is Harold, and I started driving trucks when I was 22 years old, 1971. Back then, trucking was different. No GPS, no cell phones, no electronic logs telling you when to stop. Just you, the road, and a paper map folded. So many times the creases wore through. I drove for a company called Midwest Freight out of Gary, Indiana. We hauled everything, auto parts to Detroit, grain to Kansas City, furniture to Denver. I spent more nights in truck stop parking lots than I did in my own bed. My wife, Eleanor, she understood. At least she said she did. We had 2 kids, a mortgage, and not much else. Trucking paid the bills. That was the deal. I came home every few weeks, and we made it work. By 1989, I had 18 years with the company. 18 years of clean deliveries. Never late, never short, never a single complaint. That record meant everything to me. It was the though thing I had that proved I was good at something. But here's what nobody tells you about being good at your job. For 18 years, it doesn't buy you loyalty, it buys you expectations. The company didn't see a reliable driver. They saw a man who would never say no. That November, I was hauling a load of industrial equipment from Pittsburgh to a factory outside of Omaha, 32,000 pounds of machine parts. The delivery window was tight, 8 a.m., November 9th, not 8:15, not 8:30, 8 a.m. or the contract had a penalty clause. I left Pittsburgh at 6 in the evening on the 18th. The math was simple, 14 hours of driving, 2 mandatory rest stops, a buffer for weather. I'd roll into Omaha around 6 in the morning, grab breakfast, make the delivery with time to spare. But the math didn't account for a jackknifed tanker outside of Indianapolis that shut down I-70 for 3 hours. By the time I got moving again, my buffer was gone. I called dispatch from a payphone at a rest stop. Told them I was behind schedule. You know what they said? Figure it out. That was it. Figure it out. 18 years, 3 million miles, and that's what I got. Figure it out. So I did what every driver did back then. I pushed, drove faster than I should have, skipped a rest stop, drank coffee until my hands shook. By 2 in the morning, I was somewhere in the middle of Iowa, running on fumes and adrenaline, watching the center line blur in my headlights. And that's when I saw her. A white sedan pulled onto the shoulder. Hazard lights blinking. Middle of nowhere. Not a house or a gas station. For miles. Just flat, empty farmland and a sky full of stars. Now you have to understand something. In 41 years of driving, I passed a lot of cars on the side of the road. Hundreds, maybe thousands. And most of the time, I kept dumb. That was the unwritten rule. You're on the clock, you keep moving. Someone else will stop. Someone with time. Someone whose job isn't on the line. But something about this one was different. I can't explain it exactly. The way the car was parked, maybe, not angled like a breakdown, just stopped. Like whoever was inside had given up on going anywhere. I was past it before I made the decision. I watched it shrink in my side mirror, those hazard lights blinking orange in the darkness. and my foot moved to the brake almost on its own. I pulled onto the shoulder about 100 yards ahead, sat there for a moment with the engine idling, looked at the clock on my dash. 2:14 a.m., 4 hours and 46 minutes until my delivery window opened. I was still at least 5 hours out from Omaha. If I stopped, I wouldn't make it. Simple as that. The penalty clause would kick in. The company would lose money. And after 18 years of perfect deliveries, I'd have a black mark on our record. Maybe my last one. I got out of the truck anyway. The walk back to that car felt longer than it was. November in Iowa is cold in a way that gets inside your bones. I could see my breath in the headlights of passing trucks. Not that many were when. That stretch of highway was empty as a church on Monday. When I got to the driver's side window, I saw her, a woman, maybe mid-30s, brown hair, wearing a coat that looked too thin for the weather. She wasn't tying, just sitting there with her hands on the steering wheel, staring straight ahead. I knocked on the window. She didn't react at first. I knocked again. Finally, she turned her head and looked at me, and I'll never forget her eyes. Empty, like someone had reached inside and turned off the lights. She rolled down the window about 2 inches, just enough to talk. I asked if she was okay. Stupid question. Looking back, obviously she wasn't okay. But that's what you say, isn't it? She didn't answer, just shook her head slowly. No. I asked if her car broke down. She shook her head again. No. I asked if she needed me to call someone, a husband, a friend. The police? She laughed at that. Not a real laugh. A sound that came from somewhere dark. She said there's nobody to call. I stood there in the cold, not knowing what to do. I'm a truck driver, not a counselor. I haul machine parts, not broken people. But I couldn't walk away. Something in the way she said those words. There's nobody to call. Like she'd already made some kind of decision. That's when I noticed the bottle on the passenger seat. Prescription pills. The cap was off. I'm not going to tell you I said the right things. I didn't have training for this. Didn't have a script to follow. All I had was 47 years of being alive and 18 years of sitting alone in a truck cab with nothing but my own thoughts. I asked her if I could sit with her for a while. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. So I walked around to the passenger side and got in. The car was cold. She hadn't been running the heat. The pill bottle was right there between us. I didn't touch it, didn't mention it, just sat there. After a long silence, she started talking. Her name was Catherine. She was driving from Des Moines to Chicago. Or at least that's where she told people she was going. Her husband had left her 4 months earlier, took their daughter, moved to Arizona, filed for full custody, and won. She'd lost her job the week before, couldn't make rent, couldn't see a way forward. She said she'd been driving for hours with no destination, just driving until she couldn't drive anymore. Then she pulled over here in the middle of nothing to wait. I asked her what she was waiting for. She looked at me like I was asking a question we both already knew the answer to. Courage, she said. I'm waiting for the courage to take those pills. I sat with that for a moment. The clock in my head was still ticking. Every minute I stayed was a minute closer to losing my job. But some things matter more than clocks. I told her about my daughter, Sarah, how she'd struggled after high school, got mixed up with the wrong people, made bad choices. There was a stretch where Eleanor and I didn't know if we'd ever see her again. But we did. She came back. Things got better. Not perfect, but better. I told Catherine that the worst night of your life isn't the last night of your life. It's just a night, and nights end. She cried, really cried, the kind that shakes your whole body. I sat there with her for almost 2 hours while the trucks rolled by outside, and my delivery window closed somewhere in the distance. When she finally stopped, she looked at the pill bottle like she was seeing it for the first time. She handed it to me, didn't say anything, just handed it over. I put it in my coat pocket. I drove her to the next town, a place called Grinnell, found an all-night diner, bought her coffee and eggs, waited with her until a cousin could come pick her up. It was almost 6 in the morning when I got back on the road. I called dispatch from a gas station, told them I wouldn't make the delivery window. The voice on the other end was cold. They'd heard every excuse in the book. Mine wasn't any different to them. The penalty clause cost the company $12,000. $12,000 for a 4-hour delay. And the company made sure I knew exactly whose fault that was. I was terminated 2 weeks later. After 18 years, they let me go 3 weeks before Christmas. The official reason was failure to meet contractual obligations. The real reason was that I'd finally said no to something. Eleanor was scared. We had 2 kids in high school, a mortgage, and suddenly no income. I spent the next 4 months looking for work, taking odd jobs, trying to keep us afloat. It was the hardest winter of my life. But here's what I need you to understand. I never regretted stopping. Not once. Not when we were late on the mortgage. Not when I had to tell my kids we couldn't afford their school trip. Not when I lay awake at 3 in the morning wondering if I'd ruin my family's future for a stranger because I knew something that the company didn't. Some deliveries aren't on any manifest. Some cargo doesn't have a weight or a destination, and some deadlines don't matter at all compared to keeping someone alive one more night. I found another job eventually. Smaller company, worse pay, but decent people. Drove for them until I retired in 2012. 23 more years behind the wheel. I never heard from Catherine again. Didn't expect to. That's how these things usually work. You cross paths with someone, share something real, and then life pulls you in different directions. I made my peace with that. But life has a way of surprising you. In 2009, 20 years after that night, I got a letter, handwritten on nice stationery. The return address was somewhere in Oregon. It was from a woman named Emily. She said she was writing on behalf of her mother, Catherine, who had passed away the year before, lung cancer. She'd lived to be 58 years old. Emily said her mother had told her the story many times. The night on the highway, the truck driver who stopped, the 2 hours in a cold car that changed everything. After that night, Catherine had moved to Oregon to be closer to her sister. She'd gotten help, rebuilt her life piece by piece, eventually remarried a good man who treated her well. She'd reconciled with her daughter from her first marriage. She'd become a counselor herself, working with people in crisis. Spent 15 years helping others find reasons to stay. And she'd had another child, a daughter, Emily. Emily wrote that her mother talked about me often. She'd always meant to find me, to thank me properly. But she didn't know my name, didn't know anything about me, except that I drove a truck and I stopped when I didn't have to. She'd looked for years but never found me. When Catherine was dying, she made Emily promise to keep looking, and Emily did. It took her 11 months, but she found me through old trucking company records and a lot of phone calls. The letter ended with this: "My mother wanted you to know that you didn't just save her life that night. You saved mine too. Because I exist because of a choice you made on a cold night in 1989. You are the reason I am here, and I am the reason my two children are here. That's what your decision created, not a missed delivery. A family." I still have that letter. It's in my desk drawer, right next to my old road log from that night, November 19, 1989. The entry just says delayed. Personal matter. That's all. 2 words for the most important stop I ever made. I'm 74 years old now. I've had a lot of time to think about what that night taught me. And I keep coming back to one thing. We think life is about the big moments, the promotions, the achievements, the things you can put on a resume. But it's not. Life is about the moments nobody sees, the choices you make when no one is watching, the times you stop when everyone else keeps driving.
That night, I made a choice that cost me my job, and it gave me something no job could ever provide: the knowledge that my life mattered to someone, that I was in the right place at the right time, and I didn't look away.
Here's what I want you to understand. You're going to have a moment like that. Maybe you've already had one. A moment when stopping doesn't make sense. When the math says keep going. When everyone would understand if you just drove past. But some deliveries aren't on any manifest. Some cargo doesn't have a weight. And sometimes the most important thing you'll ever carry is a few hours of your time given to someone who has nothing left. I think about Catherine sometimes. The years she got to live after that night. The people she helped. The family she built. All of it growing from one decision on an empty highway. And I think about all the cars I passed before her. All the times I kept driving. I wonder who was in those cars. I wonder what happened to them. You can't stop for everyone. I know that. But you can stop for someone. So here's my question for you. And I want you to really think about it. When was the last time you stopped? When was the last time you chose a person over a deadline? When was the last time you gave your time to someone who had nothing to offer in return? If you can't remember, maybe today is the day you start. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to hear more from people like me, people at the end of their road looking back at what mattered, subscribe and stick around. I don't know how many more of these I have left in me. But while I'm still here, I want to tell you everything I wish someone had told me. The clock is always ticking. What are you going to do with your next stop?